morning at 7:03 on this Thursday, February 6th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. A Thursday morning. We still got the rain. It's falling a little bit out there, but I think we should count our blessings because we haven't had so much rain and not as much flooding, I don't think, as they have in some other places. Anyway, we're ready to start this morning as we do each Thursday morning for Bates Ford, 1673 West Main in Lebanon, the dealer that'll trade for anything you don't eat. We've got Paul, we've got Ronnie. Good morning to both of you today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Ronnie?
Doing great. How you doing today?
Doing fine. Weather doesn't bother you, does it?
No, it's all right.
Sell cars, rain or shine.
It's a good thing we got liquid sunshine.
Get on wet streets like this, your tires are important.
Very important.
We might start out talking about tires.
Yeah, we have some great deals. Ford always meets or beats anybody's price on tires, like I've always said. Right now they've got some awesome deals. I think there's 16 brands that they have rebates on. One thing I never really talk about is when we do put a set of tires on, or you purchase a set of tires from Bates Ford, you get rotation for life. So if you come in for an oil change, we rotate your tires for free. When we rotate them tires, we look at your brakes, check all that. So you get a lot for your money. But Ford has a deal on tires where they purchase so many tires to put on their vehicles that they'll meet or beat anybody's price on any tire. So, and plus right now they also have a $130 rebate on 16 different brands. So you can buy a set of tires, you get free rotation, we'll meet or beat anybody's price, plus you get $130 back. What a deal.
It really is. And you haven't, we talk about it here occasionally, but I mean, you can't say that when you're saying with a dealer that trade for anything you don't eat.
That's it.
You haven't done a lot of talk about that, I think, but that's tremendous.
Yeah, it is. And you got to look, the manufacturer, which one's Ford, Dodge, Chevy, who purchases the most tires from the tire manufacturers is the people that's building the cars. So that's why they can compete with the prices that we have on tires. But we will meet or beat anybody's price on any comparable tire.
All right, you heard all this. This is Bates Ford. Let's talk about the oil change for a minute.
$28.95 up to 5 quarts, cheapest one in town.
That's a deal. And of course, you're there to sell cars, and cars means trucks and SUVs and the whole 9 yards. But even trading or buying some things that people got to do.
Yeah, we've a lot of different deals going on right now. We've actually got a lot of really nice trades in here just recently. Ronnie could tell you about some, but we've got them trucks that everybody looks for. I've got some really nice trucks. We've really tried to get them through the shop. Like I said, Tony's very big on making sure everything we put on our lot is retail ready. We're going to make sure customers are driving a roadworthy vehicle. But I got trucks I got a real nice regular cab F-150, $69.95. We've got another truck that's $11.9, but we've got them trucks between $7,000 and $15,000. We've got 4 or 5 of them that we've just recently traded for that we've tried to get through the shop, make sure everything's ready for them. Tax time coming, there's a lot of great deals we got going on.
You want to talk more about that, Ronnie?
Yes, sir. Like, we have some great trucks, and one we mentioned last week was a 2007 Chevy C45. It has it's a box truck. It is a crew cab truck, and it's a great truck for utility. Someone doing electricity, gutter, siding. But the crew cab, you can take your whole crew with you and still have all the room you need to work on that truck. And last week we hadn't got it through the shop, so we got it through the shop and everything went well on it. So that's a truck that you want to come down and take a look at. Also, he was talking about those F-150s. The F-150 truck right now in the 19s, which that's the best-selling truck for 43 years. We do have rebates of almost $4,000 on those trucks. Also, we got 3750 plus 0% for 72 months. That's a great deal on our 19 trucks. And also on Ranger, we have $1,500 plus 0% for 72 months. So those are some great deals. You want to come by and take advantage of these deals right now because they'll be going away soon.
Well, we'll tell you folks, we talk about it quite a bit, but Ronnie Kelly's been talking sales and doing sales and made a lot of friends for 32 years. Right here at this one location. That says a lot for you.
Yes, that says a lot. And also, we will buy your vehicle. If you have anything that you want to turn into cash, you bring it by, and Mr. Tubbs and Mike McClendon will put a number on it.
All right. what else this morning?
I kind of lost my Super Bowl pick, so I'm a little upset about that. I figured you'd give me a hard time on it.
I did think about it this morning. I was thinking, yeah, that was last Sunday. It was a good game.
It was a very good game.
And it surprised me the way they were able to turn it around right there at the end.
I thought I was smart until the fourth quarter, so,
And then while we're talking sports, the curse is off the Commodores. They probably won
They did.
Believe it or not, beating LSU. I don't think
26 games?
Yeah.
26 game win streak.
That in the conference they lost, but I don't think LSU had even lost a conference game. And 99-90, if I remember right.
Right. And I tell you something, too, when we're talking sports, Mr. Bates is big, and I was approached by the local baseball about sponsorship and stuff. That's something I also want to kind of, Tony really gets it big in the community. We're sponsoring a baseball team for the Lebanon Youth Baseball and doing things like that. So, Bates Ford, we try to give back to those who give to us. And one of the things that he does is people that purchase vehicles and stuff for us. That's kind of where he wants to give back. And do for the community. And, we got Fair Time will be here before you know it, and he's a big sponsorship there. So, Tony wants to engross in the community and make sure that Ronnie does a great job of getting out and several different clubs and handles, and represents Bates Ford in a good way. So that, that means a lot to us.
Well, I know that you, Paul Tubbs, represent Bates Ford really well when you get out on the golf course.
I try every chance
I get. I couldn't resist. But no, very community minded. Have been, still are, going to be. I'm sure, long as Tony's there.
Like I said, we want to give back to those that take care of us, and we want to treat people like family. And come down, and we'll do everything we can do to give you the most fair, honest deal we can.
All right. Well, Paul Tubbs and Ronnie Kelly, thanks for being with us this morning. We'll see you next Thursday.
Yes.
Thank you, Coleman.
And that's it for Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, the dealer that'll trade for anything that don't eat. 10:30 after the hour, we have an election coming up on March 3rd, and we're meeting some of the candidates that are on the ballot. I've got another one this morning. I want to welcome Sean McBrien, who is a candidate for the 2-year vacated term by Judge John Wooten, criminal court judge seat, 5 county-wide election. And Sean is with us this morning. Sean McBrien, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well, and it is good to see you, and we welcome you to talk about your candidacy. And as sort of my general format, I'm going to just open it up for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you'd like the people to know about you, maybe your family, and what you've done, and then we'll ask some questions afterwards.
That'll be fine. I'm 59 years old. I was raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I call myself a semi-native of Wilson County because my mom's side of the family is from Lebanon. They're Couch and Palmers. My grandmother, Frances Couch, taught at Bowers Dowdy and McLean School when it was there. My mom and dad met here in Lebanon. My dad went to Coleman School of Law when it was here. When they got married, they moved to Chattanooga. I was raised in Chattanooga, went to UT. Wanted to play a little football, and then once I realized you couldn't play football and run a 40 at about 6 flat, I decided I need to get my education, get more focused. I graduated from UT. I was accepted into Coleman School of Law in Birmingham, down in Sanford. I've been married going on 36 years in August. Karen and I have 4 children, Jacob, Joshua, Jonathan, and Caitlin. Jacob graduated from the University of Tennessee, got his master's in healthcare administration from Texas, University of Texas at Austin. Joshua's graduated from Tennessee Tech with a computer management project degree. He works at Vanderbilt. Jacob works at Vanderbilt. My son Jonathan graduated from Tennessee Tech. He graduated with a degree in microbiology, but didn't want to go into medical school just yet, so he ended up in the Air Force to be a Air Force pararescue. Caitlin, my youngest, graduated from Wilson Central. Let me go back. I've been here in Lebanon for almost 28 years. It is 28 years in August. So Caitlin graduated from Wilson Central. She took a year off, did missionary work in Costa Rica for 3 months, and then went to Athens, Greece, did missionary work there with young women with small children for almost 4 months before she came back, and then she's starting into nursing school. She's getting her preliminary classes now. She's taking the entrance exam for nursing school and start she'll start in the fall in nursing school.
What are you doing now, and what have you been doing the last few years?
Well, Coleman, I've been practicing. In August, it'll be 34 years. I practiced in Chattanooga for a year with insurance defense, various jury trials dealing more with railroad issues or some banking issues, personal injury, that kind of thing. We moved to Wyoming. I love the outdoors. Phenomenal, hard to believe, but phenomenal legal experience there. Then we had two boys. Our two oldest were born in Wyoming, so we got homesick, and we ended up back here in Lebanon. We moved here in 1992.
Okay.
I went into work with Hugh Green, and when I started, of course, trying to keep carrying it home with the boys, I did everything. Anything I could do to eat. I practiced in my career both federal and state courts, of course, in Chattanooga here, Wyoming, of course. I've probably been in 30 to 40 of the counties in the state of Tennessee in 29 years, both criminal cases and civil cases. I've had jury trials in both. My practice today is really more of a civil litigation and business litigation. I do a lot of mediations. The last 6 or 7 years, I've done hundreds of mediations for other lawyers. About 6 or 7 years ago, a couple lawyers called and asked if I would mediate a case. I had been in mediation as an attorney. Federal courts sometimes will mandate you go to a mediation before you try a case. A lot of state courts have gone that way. I was kind of surprised, but I had agreed to do it. And they came. We spent a day and a half working through the issues, and we got it settled. It was hard, but I had a blast. It's similar to a court situation where the parties will send me their pleadings, the information they want me to see, and basically a position paper, what we might call a brief. I go through that, and because of my experience, I won't say I kind of know where it's headed, but I can certainly get a real good feel for where we are. And I go in and meet with the clients, parties. I keep them separate, meet with them. They tell me their story, and then we work the situation out. So I've done that a lot in the last 6, 7 years.
Okay. All right. We need to take a break right here. Sean McBrien is a candidate for circuit court judge, one of 3, actually, that are running for the Republican nomination. And the election is March the 3rd. Early voting starts February the 12th. A break right here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:17. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental. Exmark, large inventory of Exmark mowers with homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand, bought 2 to 1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm looking live at this 18-wheeler that has flipped over on its side here on Ashland City Highway. As you come off that ramp there from Briley Parkway, again, it's Ashland City Highway at Briley Parkway. Not sure if there's any injuries or not, but there's a lot of flashing lights here on Ashland City Highway because of this crash here at Briley Parkway. 65 North entrance ramp there at Harding Place. We saw that crash. Still very heavy out here now on 40 West coming past the airport through Hermitage and Donaldson. Hey, Donut Distillery in East Nashville offers delicious mini donuts. Go by and see for yourself. The Donut Distillery, there at 311 Gallatin Avenue. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
John Boyce here from the Scoreboard Show. For the first time ever, we will be extending the Scoreboard Show to include all of Wilson County High School and college basketball. Trip Perry and I will give you all the basketball scores from the county as well as interviews from the coaches every Friday night from 9 to 11 right here on WANT FM 98.9. The Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Designers Carpet, Absolute Kubota, Kay Maynard with State Farm Insurance, Sheriff Robert Bryan and Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Dickey's Barbecue, and Southeast Motorsports.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us, and our thanks to Sean McBride for paying us a visit this morning, a candidate for judge. And we had to interrupt, of course, for a break here, but Tell us about this judgeship.
Coleman, I'm going to try to clear something up here. This is not a criminal court judge position. It's a circuit court position. And the circuit court position, as it stands today, though this is going to change as soon as the next judge gets sworn in, is civil and criminal. Judge Wooten, based what his agreement was, what they were doing was he would basically handle civil cases or of all types. Some of my most complicated cases, jury and bench trials, being Judge Wooten alone, were business cases, personal injury cases of all types. And he also covered on the criminal side, he covered basically the traffic offenses, and then I think Brody or Judge Kane would alternate some of the more serious cases. In the situation it is right now, you will basically run 50-50, somewhere close. Judge Wooten, the closest information that you could get from the state, Judge Wooten in the year of June 17 to June 18, handled over 1,200 cases. Of those 1,200 cases, approximately 700 were criminal cases, a lot of the driving offenses, but he also handled close to 500 cases or more of jury, some of the most complicated cases that come into the district. So I know some of the other candidates have talked a lot about their criminal experience and how this is a criminal court, and it's not. It's not a drug court directly. It's also not a mental health court. Brody Kane, Judge Kane, and Judge Wooten have drug court, and those drug court and there's some of their veteran assistant or veteran courts have been in existence for years and years. When Judge Wooten, this position was created due to the increase of the population in Wilson County. They added an additional judge, but they needed a judge that could do both, and that's what they did. Judge Byrd is a circuit court judge, same as Judge Wooten was. She basically took all of the domestic, and then she took roughly half of the civil cases. So between her and Judge Wooten, their civil docket is huge. Judge Byrd recently has told all the candidates that because of the change in the law in the last couple of years and the burden she's had to take on dealing with adoptions and terminations and those kind of things and the requirements, she's told us all that we're going to end up doing a lot more domestic, which in my career, I've done that since the first day I started the court. First day I came here, walked in with Hugh Green on a Monday morning. He handed me a file and told me to go see Chancellor Smith, Barbara Webb, and get the divorce done. Now, the new guy in town is a little nervous about that, but I started out with domestic cases, and even a lot of my mediations today are domestic cases. So in this court, I know there's a lot of discussion about programs and this and that. I've known Judge Wooten and litigated when he was with the district attorney's office in '92. I've known Brody for probably going on more than 20 years, and he and I, Judge Kane, we've been partners. We were partners for close to 12 or 13 years. I've worked with them. I can work with Brody, and I understand that system with Judge Byrd needing help. To me, it's just we go to work, we help each other. Brody and I would work seamlessly together from day one. And in fact, I look forward to working with him again because a man of integrity and character. And I know that the programs that have come up and been mentioned before, I know that Judge Wooten, Judge Byrd, Judge Kane have done everything possible in their power to get all the programs they can to help their courts, make it as efficient as possible. And I know they're constantly looking at it. For example, Judge Byrd needs help, and it needs to be adjusted. And that's basically based on the fact that Wilson County, as everybody here knows, and even this district, has exploded. And so the burden on the courts has grown with it.
You feel you have had experience in general area here and in all areas really to really make you qualified for this judgeship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Judge Wooten, in this particular case, like I said, handles civil and jury and criminal cases. I've had jury trials in front of him. Some of my most complicated, one of a multi-million-dollar business. It was what we call a business divorce, where shareholders were splitting up. It was over a week's worth of trial. Extremely complicated. I actually tried to get him to change the law in the state of Tennessee, but he just didn't go that far. I've had jury trials with him over antique cars, business dissolutions, personal injury cases, construction cases, my most recent one. I've also, from the criminal side of it, I've had jury trials in the driving offenses, DUIs, more major criminal cases, and not just here in this district. It's been all over Middle Tennessee.
Are you pretty familiar with all the 5 counties and maybe work cases in all of those?
Well, like I said earlier, I've probably, on 29 years of practice, including down in Chattanooga, I've probably been in 30 or 40 of the counties.
Yeah.
Since I've been we've lived in Wilson County, my candidates, the opponents, are basically, they're all out of Smith County. And no disrespect, but they've covered a couple of counties. I've been in all 5 counties. I've tried jury trials or bench trials in all 5 counties, both on the criminal side and the civil side. So I know the clerks, some of the law enforcement that are now, I guess you'd say, in upper positions.
Yeah.
I knew them when I was starting out, and they were patrol officers. And I know the clerks. Like I said, Miss Barbara Webb kept me out of trouble for years and years and years. So,
one of the things we hear about is the crowded dockets and that it takes so long for a case to get settled. I know you are aware of that, and I don't know what can be done, but anything you'd like to do maybe could do to speed things up.
well,
Or do they need speeding up? I mean, we want justice. We want time for, but at the same time, it does seem like sometimes it's a long time from when a case starts or when an arrest is made or charges are brought before we have a final solution.
the situation that you have, and I know from my experience, I know of several attorneys that became judges in Nashville, Williamson County, and other counties, and I've talked to them before I ran or announced that I was going to run. Is how do you run your courts? Is there an easier, faster way to do it? One of the things that people don't understand until they get to court is you've got motions, you've got discovery, you've got these things you've got to go through. Judge Wooten was big on giving you a short period of time to kind of get your case together, and then you met with him and what we called a docket call or a status conference, and he'd set a trial. And then you had to work backwards and you had to get going. And I don't see any reason right now to change that. I know for a fact 2 points that when Judge Kane came on the bench, he looked at trying to get as much time maximized in this circuit to help move that docket. Judge Byrd, again, those things have to be looked at constantly to see if there's a better way to do it more efficiently. I know Judge Wooten, I know Judge Byrd, of course Brody, or Judge Kane, excuse me. I know that they wouldn't let any stone go unturned to try to get people in before the court, get their chance to be heard, whether it's a criminal case or a civil case, as fast as possible. Other counties and other areas and districts have looked at trying to become a single, like Wilson County, become its own circuit. I know that Judge Wooten and Judge Byrd, Judge Kane did a very detailed study on the caseload and how to manage it probably 2 years ago. So I have no doubt that if there were other ways to do it today, that they have maximized that opportunity. Cases going to court, because this is not General Sessions Court, this is a court of record. There's a whole nother world of discovery, motions, and rules. And the court has to abide by those rules, whether it be civil cases or criminal cases, and they're trying to move them as fast as possible.
Our time has really gone by here in a hurry, but it's time to kind of wrap it up. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes here to close out. And again, there are 3 candidates for the Republican nomination on the March 3rd ballot. And Sean McBride is one of those who's here. Why should you get this nomination for the Republican nomination for this circuit court judge?
Well, I think it 2 things: common sense and experience. I've been practicing probably 15, 16 years more before the opponents even got out of law school. I think I bring a common sense approach. I think the mediations I had the honor of attorneys coming to me from all over the state to handle all types of cases and mediate it. I think it's just the next step in my career, and that experience and common sense will, and quite frankly, seamless in introduction or with Judge Kane, Judge Byrd, we won't miss a step, and we'll serve the county.
Well, you're still practicing law. You're trying to campaign as well. Have you been able to get out into the other counties some?
Well, I've got a family to support still. Got one going to nursing school, so I'm campaigning and working at night. A week ago, I had to fly to Los Angeles, in and out of Los Angeles, do a deposition and come back. So I'm campaigning when I can, knocking on doors, and then going in at night and trying to get some work done for clients. Well,
we'll remind everybody again, the election is March the 3rd, but early voting does start on February the 12th, and I believe goes through the 25th. So you've got a window of time there to vote early, and then Election Day, there's going to be more places to vote than we've had in the past. That changed a little bit, but it'll be easy to vote, and you're a candidate, the Republican primary, 3, as we have said, and you're the third one to come and be on the program, so we appreciate you being here this morning, Sean.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Coleman.
All right. Sean McBride, candidate for the Circuit Court Judge seat, and that is part 1 of Coleman Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:29. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup, they'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation and safety check. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There's still several areas out here that have been affected by flooding. Please use caution and common sense. Latest couple of wrecks out here, Murfreesboro Pike at Hobson Pike, 40 eastbound between OHB and Charlotte Pike. As you come in from Dixon County, you may see that. South Nashville, Oak Hill area, Brentwood Boulevard there at OHB. And Smith Springs at Murfreesboro Pike has some injuries. That's tied up pretty good. This truck's still on its side. Ashland City Highway here at Briley Parkway. Prince's Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. Check it out, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
The temperature's dropping, and so are the prices at Bates Ford. We got some great deals for you. We got vehicles with rebates up to $10,000, 0 interest for 72 months. On the service side, we got tires with rebates of up to $140. We've got the Works Vehicle Package, which includes an oil change and a tire rotation for the low price of $49.95. Come see us at Bates Ford, 1673 West Main Street, 444-8221, or visit us on the web at www.tonybatesford.com, the dealer that will trade for anything that don't eat.
In your mid-state forecast, it's going to be much cooler today. Highs this afternoon will only climb into the mid-40s. There is a slight chance of rain today, otherwise skies will be mostly cloudy. I can't rule out 1 or 2 snow flurries tonight, but don't get too excited. I'm not expecting any accumulations. We do finally dry out for Friday. Temperatures on Friday will top out in the mid-40s with a mix of sun and clouds. Let's look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2. It's a Thursday morning, and we welcome you to the second half, of course, and we want to welcome Heather Sadler, who's on the phone this morning, to talk about the Pavilion Senior Living here in Lebanon. Heather, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've stayed dry, and we haven't had as much rain or flooding, I don't think, as maybe some of the other areas, so we count our blessings.
That's right. That's right.
What you got for us today?
Somebody mentioned the word snow to me, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I can't tell my girls that because they'll think it's Anna and Elsa, Winter Wonderland. So I'm hoping not for that.
I am hearing that there's a possibility of maybe a little snow in the morning, but I doubt we're going to get any here. It's probably higher elevations, but I'm not a forecaster. I don't know, but it could be.
Let's not tell Sophie and Savvy.
All right, okay. You are, of course, the you've been with the Pavilion from the very start, and the marketing director, and done a great job. So great, in fact, that you've had to add on. So that's kind of where we've started for the last several weeks, talking about your new addition. So I guess we go there again this morning.
Well, actually, your guest in there, are from Leadership Wilson, and they actually toured the fourth wing yesterday. And so we're giving tours, and we've got a model, and we're just waiting on the final stamps and approvals to be able to welcome 7 new residents into that wing. So we're excited, but we have 14 rooms, so that means we have 7 left. Mm-hmm. So we are offering $500 off for 6 months if they move in by the end of February. So we're offering that just to the new wing, and $3,000 savings. We think that's a good number. So we're offering that right now for that fourth wing that we're opening up, which, like you said, we've only been open for about 2 years. To add 14 new units, that's pretty good. So number one, it shows the need in Wilson County for assisted living, and also it shows that our reputation shows that we do good work.
Well, let's tell everybody where you are again. We have our own unique way of doing this. The official address is 1409 Medical Center Drive, but it's easier to tell everybody that you're just behind Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital.
That's right. If you head towards the emergency room and keep going. We're the first road to the left past the emergency room exit. So
find the pavilion down there on the right, and adding on 14 more rooms, and I think the fact that you've already got 7 of those spoken for says a lot about you, too.
Well, and those 7 are ready to move in. They are ready for all. We get calls every day. Now, when can we move? Now, when can we move? So we're anxiously awaiting, just like our 70 residents are. We actually put new tables and chairs in the dining room, so we're ready. We're ready to add some new residents to our meal time. So we've got staff ready for them, so we're just waiting for the final okay from the city and the state right now.
Yeah, and this has got to be an exciting time because, I mean, you're growing, you're adding on, you're going to have some new residents there, some new people to get acquainted with, some new friends to make. So it's probably exciting for everybody there.
Well, some new bingo players, that's what. New people to share their lives with, and to share this season of their lives with.
Right.
So we're excited, and it's kind of like opening up all over again. So we're ready, and then of course on that campus we still offer our long-term care and our rehab. So we work hand in hand with anybody that's in rehab that may need a little bit of help and may step down to assisted living. And then we also, if any of our residents need a little bit more help, they can step up to our skilled nursing facility. So, that's exciting that we get to offer different levels of care all on the same campus and all locally owned and locally operated too.
Right, and the fact too that sometimes memory care is a very important part of what you do. It may not as many people are there maybe, but it's still a very important part.
Yeah, our memory care is a small memory care unit. We only have 14. It's just one wing, and we had the chance of either expanding that, and we really chose not to. We chose to keep it small. Memory care, it's more of a smaller family over there, just because probably the more you get. I've toured and I've worked with certain larger memory care units, and a lot of times the more people, it's not as calm. Mm-hmm. And so our unit is a little bit smaller, and it's calm, and then we have our days, but and just because you have dementia doesn't mean you need memory care. But if you're ever exiting and don't know to come back in, or let's say that you don't know which room to go into and you need a lot of assistance and reminders, that's really what memory care is. So it is a very calm and serene unit. So, I don't like when people need that service, but I'm sure glad we have it when they do.
There you go. Well, time for us to kind of close out. I want to remind everybody again, you have so much information available on your website, www.thepavilionseniorliving.com, and Heather welcomes phone calls at 615-444-5556, and I think you welcome even more somebody coming and knocking on your door and saying hi.
That's right. Y'all just come on by. We'll roll out the red carpet.
All right. Well,
have a great day.
You too. Stay dry, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Sounds good. Bye.
All right. That is Heather Sadler, Marketing Director for the Pavilion. We are now 22 minutes before the hour and got another program regarding the election this morning. we've talked to the three candidates for the circuit court judgeship, and but another thing that's coming up on the March 3rd ballot is a sales tax referendum, and we've got somebody here to talk about that this morning. This gentleman's name is Keith Harned. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Keith Harned, good morning and welcome to our program.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Now, you are part of Leadership Wilson, and I think you have a project, and let me say in the beginning here, you're not paying for this time, and you're doing an education service here to let people know what this sales tax referendum is all about, and whether you're for or against it doesn't matter. You're just disseminating facts this morning, right?
That's correct.
All right, we're both on the same page. Now,
yes, sir.
But the county commission, as I understand it, voted to put this on the ballot here and to offer an opportunity for people to choose whether they wanted to add a half cent more, half a percent actually, where we're paying 9 1/4. It would be 9.75, and that's a little bit of increase in the sales tax, and the people will have to decide that. Now, I'm not here to. You're the one that's going to be the teacher this morning, so if you will, take it from there.
Yes, sir. So I'm working with a group of 5 other folks on a project from Leadership Wilson, and our position is not for or against. As you said, our position is to educate the voting public on the facts of why this referendum is on the ballot. And, one of the things out there is that 45 of 95 counties in Tennessee already have a sales tax of 9.75. Another of the 11 counties have a sales tax of 9.5. So, what we want to do is also get the facts out there so that folks can educate themselves. Quite often, not quite often, but I have been guilty myself before of going in and just voting with my heart before and not knowing all the facts. So all we're trying to do is lay the facts out there. We've focused on 4 primary areas to do that. One of those being, what will it fund? One of those being, why is an increase needed? Who pays sales tax? And what that means to you as a member of Wilson County.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll go to a break in about 4 minutes, but you want to go ahead and get started with the first reason you've got here, first part of this?
Sure. I'll give you some additional facts first. 7% of the sales tax raised currently goes to the state of Tennessee. The remaining portion of that local tax, which is currently 2.25, is split equally between education by law and the city where the purchase is made. Based on the latest numbers, that 5% increase to 2.75, the Wilson County schools would receive an additional $5.2 million a year, and Lebanon Special School District receives an additional $900,000 per year. As that referendum is worded, that education portion of the increase can only go to fund teacher pay increases. Mm-hmm. And, as some folks may or may not know, Tennessee counties are required by law to sufficiently fund schools to accommodate the student population. And I think it's not a secret that here in Wilson County, that population is ever growing.
Well, there's quite a bit to consider here. That there are people who are going to say, well, the sales tax is already too high, and you're wanting to add a 0.5% to that. One of the things that's been pointed out is how little that actually is on a $10 purchase. What is it, 50 cents?
5 cents. 5 cents on $10.
Okay, all right. My math is a little fuzzy at this early in the morning, but it's fairly insignificant is the point here.
Yes, sir.
But you're saying that this is going to bring $5.2 million more dollars for the Wilson County schools and $900,000 for the Lebanon Special School District.
Yes, sir.
Right. Well, tell you what, let's, MJ, if you're ready, let's go ahead and take this break. We've got a lot more to talk about. We're really just getting started here. And Keith Harnett is my guest this morning, representing Leadership Wilson, and an information session regarding the sales tax referendum here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:43. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental Exmark. Large inventory of Exmark mowers for homeowners and commercial users. #1 selling brand, but 2-to-1 over any other commercial mower brand. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still quite a bit of traffic volume out here as we check it out live. I-40 coming through Mount Juliet right now. Coming in from Wilson County, 40 eastbound. It's going to be near 440 on a crash out on the west side. 440 eastbound itself there at 65 split on an accident. Yes, it's in that construction. Also working an accident, 3300 block of Brick Church Pike, Murfreesboro Pike at OHB. We saw that tied up due to a crash. Give yourself extra travel time out here. There's still some areas that are affected by some of the flooding. Hey, Donut Distillery in East Nashville offers delicious mini donuts. Go by and see them today at Donut Distillery, 311 Gallatin Avenue. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Caring for a loved one is as natural as the weather. But just like the weather, one moment it's sunny, and the next you find yourself in the middle of a storm. So when it came time to take care of my dad, I knew I needed help. A reprieve from the storm, so to speak. That's when I found the Pavilion Senior Living. They have expertise and experience to weather the storms in your loved one's life. And now I can rest easy. Thank you, Pavilion Senior Living. You should visit thepavilionseniorliving.com to find out more.
It's your first day in business, a new space, real investors, and butterflies the size of dinner plates. For peace of mind, protect your dream and call THW Insurance. Local folks representing quality companies like Westfield Insurance. Whether your business is large or small, contact Lori Carter of THW at 615-547-5632 or stop in and see her at the Wilson Bank and Trust West Main office.
And we continue. Thanks for joining us here on a Thursday morning. Keith Harnett is my guest. We haven't really talked a whole lot about you. You're part of Leadership Wilson. Part of this team is wanting to get information out about the sales tax referendum. But take a minute here. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your business and what you've done and where you work and all this kind of stuff quickly.
Yes, sir. I moved to Wilson County in 1997 to Mount Juliet because it was a good place to raise a family. You know, the education as well as the proximity to the place where I was working when I got transferred here. So my wife Heather and I live in Mount Juliet, in North Mount Juliet. We have 3 grown kids, 2 girls and a boy that we are very, very proud of, and 2 granddaughters, a 4-year-old granddaughter and a 1-year-old granddaughter, and another on the way. Mm-hmm. And you know, one of our daughters lives in Williamson County in Thompson Station. One of our daughters lives in Lebanon. Both of them are married. We have 2 awesome son-in-laws, and our son is in the Navy. He's in Charleston, South Carolina right now, and he is married as well. So we have been very blessed.
You've got a job and a business, I believe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My day job, as I like to call it, is I work for Lee Company. I'm the director of safety for Lee Company, and proudly try to take care of our 1,450 some employees, and try to get them energized about what they do. And my job really is to make sure that each of them goes home safely to their families every day. And my wife and I are the proud owners of Juice Bar Mount Juliet.
All right, back to the sales tax referendum. If we can kind of pick up where we left off here, you're here to tell the facts about it and what it's all about for an education, if you will, for the voters.
Yes, sir. So our job, as we talked about earlier, is simply to educate folks. We try hard not to get into whether we're for or whether we're against, and we try hard not to tell people how they should vote. That's really not what we're trying to do. But as I said earlier, we're focused on 4 primary areas. What will the increase fund? Why is it needed? Who pays the sales tax, and what that really means to folks. And, when we left the air a minute ago, we talked briefly about what that means to people. 5 cents on $10 essentially, and raising that rate from 9.25 to 9.75. Now, I think we can all agree that when you say the word tax, it is a 3-letter word, but it comes out of your mouth as a 4-letter word, right? Nobody likes it. It leaves a sour taste in your mouth. But we have also pointed people in the direction that it is 5 cents on $10. Right. As a taxpayer as well, who pays that sales tax, it is the only tax of the 4 options that are out there that Wilson Countyans would not be the only ones paying. The latest facts on that are 30% of that sales tax is paid by folks who are passing through or who make purchases when they are in Wilson County. Mm-hmm. We have several exits off of I-40. It's a very popular place to get off, grab something to eat. There are also many shopping places in downtown Lebanon, in the Providence area, Mount Juliet, and all throughout the Mount Juliet as well, that folks spend their money and come from other places to spend their money. So if you were looking for a way to not have Wilson Countyans bear the whole brunt of that is a little bit about who pays the sales tax.
Hey, really, kind of in a nutshell, what you're saying here is 30% of this tax revenue that's going to be coming in is going to be paid by people outside Wilson County.
That's correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So there's only 70% of what we're going to reap here would be paid by actual people who live here. So,
yes, sir.
That's certainly something to consider. But that's pretty much who pays it. You make a purchase. There's very few things that we don't pay sales tax on, and so everybody pays the same rate. But there are some benefits for those who are passing through. You want to go to the next point?
Yes, sir. So, what will the increase fund? The as I said, half of that goes to education by law. So that education portion is designated on the referendum to go to classroom teacher raises, pay increases only. That referendum was carefully worded so that that was recognized. Sometimes those things can get confusing. And if we talk about what is the need for that, the need for that is based on a growing population, more kids in the schools, as well as competitive teacher pay. If we're going to obtain and retain, is what we're focused on, quality teachers, quality educators throughout the system, our pay has to be competitive. And it is a shame to have young people grow up in this community, go to college to be a teacher and have to go somewhere else to make more money to support their families.
So again, half of this goes to education and is set aside for the classroom teachers.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And here again, you made the point there that to retain those teachers, we hear about it from time to time. People, the grass sometimes seems to be greener on the other side. Another county pays more. So I think that's a lot of the reason that when they came up with this referendum to designate this for classroom teachers. So you know what it's all about there, what the purpose was.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you got another point.
Actually, that we've covered the four points. What it's going to fund. Pretty simple. That it is going to teacher pay increases, that education portion. Right. Half of it goes to education, half of the increase goes to the city where the purchase is made. Now, the county cannot delegate how or designate how that city portion is being paid. That will be up to the city commissions and in the city. I can tell you that the county portion of that increase is going to debt retirement.
Okay. Since you have started this, what kind of response have you got? If you've tried to get out in the community some and make people aware of what this referendum is all about, and just wonder what the people that you've talked to, what it's been like.
Yes, sir.
Are they receptive one way or the other?
So it has been a mixed bag of responses when you talk to folks, but more often than not, when you sit down and talk with folks about those 4 points and sharing the facts that are on our Facebook page. We have a Facebook page, Wilson County Sales Tax Information. So I encourage people to go to that. That's Wilson County Sales Tax Information. You can search for that on Facebook. We try to lay all that information out there. When folks understand why it's needed, where it's going to go, that it is designated, that it's not going to go into some general fund, and really explain to them what that means to them, and the fact that there's a shared burden, folks understand, and there's not really a whole lot of argument with the facts. We can argue a position one way or another, but it's very hard to argue facts.
Mm-hmm. Well, the election, of course, is March the 3rd. We've got a Republican primary. We've actually got a county commission seat that's coming up that day, and early voting starts the 12th. I don't know. I'm really not sure how big a voter turnout to expect, but I do think the sales tax referendum itself is going to attract some people to the polls.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what we've seen is obviously the election is March 3rd, but even a more critical time is getting to those folks who are early voters. Myself, I'm an early voter because it's much more convenient for me with my schedule and my wife Heather with her schedule. Early voting February 12th through the 25th. Mm-hmm. So that window of opportunity to get the facts in front of people and to let people know what the referendum is about, and as you've done a good job of letting people know what the candidates are about as well.
Well, thank you. Now, one other thing we might say, what if this passes? We've talked about what it's going to do, what it is, who's going to pay it, where it's going to go, and this sort of thing. What if it doesn't pass? I mean, people can consider that too. Teachers are going to be affected to some degree. There may be some other means to. I mean, we've got to have so much money to run government, schools, etc.
Yes, sir. So, I'm certainly not the expert on that. There are four options when it comes to raising the needed funds. Those are the sales tax, which we've talked about, the wheel tax, adequate facilities tax, and the property tax. And the way it has been explained, I can't say this is a fact, but the way it has been explained that in March, we're not really deciding as citizens on whether additional tax dollars are needed. That is a fact. We're not deciding on if they're needed. They are needed. But rather where those tax dollars are going to come from. And the sales tax is the only one of those four that has to be voted on by the general public.
Right. And the people in this situation get to express themselves. And in one way, you might be saying, no, I'm not for a sales tax. But if you're not for a sales tax, does that mean you are for one of the others? Probably not. But but which would you rather have? I mean, which poison? None of us like to pay taxes, and we don't like to pay more taxes. We don't like a tax increase, but government's got to run. Schools have got to be operated. Teachers have to be paid. And how are we going to do it? Are we going to? This is one way to do it. The other three are possibilities, and it's really, I think, that's something that people ought to consider when they make the decision here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
Don't disagree with that?
No, sir. No, sir. And who should share in that burden is really what we need to consider as well.
Well, here again, we're talking about a nickel more on a $10 purchase as far as the sales tax increase, and that this would bring in about $5.2 million to the county schools, I believe you said.
Yes,
and,
sir.
$900,000 to the special school district, and the part for the county is for the schools is earmarked for classroom teachers' pay, and then again 70% of that would be paid by those who live here. The other 30% is figured to be paid by those who are passing through Wilson County. So I think that sort of summarizes what you've told us here this morning.
Yes, sir.
We got 30 seconds. Anything you want to say before you go?
So I'd just like to say it has been eye-opening to work on this project. We've got a great team of people working on this project who like we said, it doesn't matter for or against for that, but Penny Benton, Taylor Grills, Lisa Noble, Jay Hinesley, and Dale Merritt are the other folks that are working with me that have been on this team. All of us have been very active. There's if you look at all of those folks are leaders, and I was proud to be here with you today to represent those folks.
Well, Keith, thank you for coming. We certainly appreciate you sharing this with us. Keith Harned, and that is it for Thursday. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for Coleman & Company. Till then, I wish you a tremendous day.